All right. So, welcome everyone tonight to the show. This is going to be the first Moogle Talk, MogTalk, and it's going to be just random news that I've found over the internet over the past week or so, and hopefully this can become a weekly thing. Tonight I have one of my static members here, Jack Green, talking. Say hi, Jack.
Hello.
And he'll just kind of be talking with me about some of the points that I found throughout the week. And again, this is just a pilot episode. If you guys see anything that looks off or weird or something that you want to change, please reach out to me and you can talk to me on Reddit, Twitch, YouTube when I post it up on there. Uh, and I'll be happy to take any advice. A lot of the news is just stuff that kind of was found on the internet and actually through Reddit. The Final Fantasy Reddit community is actually really excellent for finding out a lot of news uh, about the game. I check it every single day, and there's almost something new to check out. So to kick it off, I wanted to kind of just start talking about Valentine's Day. It's the way Final Fantasy pronounce it is Valentines. How would you pronounce that, Jack?
Valentuan? I don't know.
Valentines.
Feel free to. I don't know. Feel free to correct us on.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys have an idea of how it should be pronounced, let me know. I would love to know. It just looks like they just threw an O in there to make it different. But I personally didn't really participate too much in it, so I don't know exactly what was going on. Jack, I know you were doing it. Was there like a main quest that you had to follow?
Well, it's just basically like four, side quests that you do, and well, it's just like side story basically.
Okay.
I mean, once you complete it, you get this cool little barding that's on my chocobo right now. It's not that bad, but yeah, that's all you get for wasting your time doing that event.
Yeah, and if you guys want to look, there's Jack's Chocobo Barty, and I'll zoom in a little bit to it. He looks very attractive there with his tattoo and his uh, little bank robber mask he has on.
Hola, mi corazón.
But it looks kind of neat. To me, it's pretty cheesy and over the top, but that's kind of cool, you know. Um,
Yeah, I mean, with these events, they don't really, they don't offer too much other than like vanity outfits for the most part. And I think the one thing that irked a lot of people was the fact that it didn't add the outfits that the NPCs were wearing. It's only available now via the cash shop, and the only way to
right.
had get it beforehand was to do the event last.
Wow. Well, then that would have sucked. Because I definitely didn't do it last year. But
Yeah, that seems to be the ongoing theme right now. That if you miss out on the event, don't worry, pay up $5. It's in the cash.
it's kind of like the Moogle stuff. I see people around with
Yeah, and
Moogle
this
stuff
kind of
all the
goes
time.
goes along with the
Go
the
ahead.
Moogle stuff.
Well, the Moogle stuff, like I thought I was gonna be special when I went to Fan Fest, and I was gonna run around with a Moogle head and everything, and then they're like, okay, well we're gonna start doing it to where people who watch the stream get it too. I'm like, all right, I guess that makes sense. And then like afterwards, it's just people keep accumulating more Moogle heads over and over again.
Yeah, because I think the thing is people could still to this point still subscribe and get the Moogle head. I could be wrong on this, but people could still subscribe.
Yeah.
Ugh, cannot speak today. They can still do that and get the Moogle head. So all you gotta do is just go to their Twitch, subscribe, and you have access to their archive of the videos and possibly receive the code as well for the Moogle account.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
And I think the biggest thing, I think like you too, like you guys, spent money, went to FanFest, and well, you could have just stayed home and saved
yeah.
yourself the money if you wanted the.
Well, to be honest with you, FanFest was absolutely like irreplaceable. I don't think that it would have definitely wouldn't have lived up to it if I just watched it at home. So I can't complain too much.
That's true. I envy you that you had went, but like I said, for some people, it's just the cosmetics items, the vanity items that they get that some people are at.
Yeah. Well, the other things that you could get besides the barding, you just kind of got the little, I guess, usable hearts that you can merge with everyone, right?
Yeah, you can get those too.
And I thought that was actually kind of a little neat concept that you could meet up with someone and form a heart with them. I'm wondering, I guess it's not too hard to program. They have other things in the game like that, but I haven't seen it in other
Well, I
MMOs.
mean, you had your wedding, so using the
Yeah,
wings.
yeah, the wings. Well, I mean, just that the hearts actually connect is the thing that got to me. Um, there are some things that they didn't really put a lot of work into. For example, if you look at the Valentine's, whatever it is, uh, logo banner, you get see four characters on it. You see really nice artwork on two of them, and then on the two in the back, you gotta just put like a couple dots in a line for their face.
You get a mask.
Yeah, it's kind of like almost he someone was working on this and he was doing some really good work on the first two, and then he had the outlines and he was ready to do the rest of them. He just didn't put the face in, and Yoshida just walked in and just said, "We need this right now. You have it now, or you're fired." And the guy just put a couple of dots in the line and gave it to him.
That could be it. It's just like, okay, great work you're doing, but we need this now. Finish it as soon as you.
Yeah, finish it within the next 2 seconds.
I mean, I like personally, I like the art. It's very well done, at least for the main NPC, Valentine herself.
Yeah.
And then the guy behind her, it's just like I wonder if he like when I saw this, the promotional art, I thought, who is this NPC? How is he going to play into the event? And sadly, since I did it, this guy is nowhere to be seen. If anything, he's probably just one of the other NPCs that you talk to for the quest. But that's about.
That's funny. Well, is that all that you got from it? Was just the usable hearts and the barding? And
Yep,
of course
that
the
was it.
clothing, I
That's
guess.
all you.
But you had to
No, you
buy
don't
the
get the
clothing,
clothing.
right?
That's no, you have to buy the clothing. If you did the
Uh,
event last year, you got the clothing. This year,
that's
all
right.
you get is the part.
Well, it's still neat. I mean, the event had some nice little items in there, and they did some cool little city artwork and balloons and things like that. And I always appreciate
Oh
that. It's
yeah,
just
I
nice
enjoy.
to see around. But other than that, like,
Oh yeah, that's right. I totally forgot. Yeah, there is the. I totally forgot about the housing item that you could buy from the. And
oh, you got a housing item too. What kind of housing item did you get from it?
well, there's two of them if I can remember correctly. There is the it's kind of like that furnace flame that they have. It's like pink, whatever. They
Mm-hmm.
had them outside during the event. I think they still do. And then they have another. They had a food buff that you can place inside,
Hmm.
just like a giant cake or something.
Okay. What's the next event that's
But
supposed to come up? Do
it's
you know?
it's a usable.
Oh,
The
okay.
next event?
Yeah.
Uh, I don't remember after this
You think
point.
they're gonna do some
Then it's already
St.
been a.
Patrick's Day thing? Oh, or is that too
I don't
American?
think they did anything like that last year. Yeah, I think that's too American. They try
Yeah.
to, at least when they try to do events here, they try to be generalized.
Right. But a lot of countries there, especially in countries like China and I guess a couple other countries out there, they're adopting like American holidays that they never celebrated before because corporations can sell stuff to them. So it's just like another day to sell people tons of
Maybe
crap.
they can tie it in with that new cash shop exclusive dye, that metallic green.
Oh yeah, maybe. All right. Well, moving forward, I am looking at, and actually, let me bring up the chat. I kind of minimized it there for a second. Okay, so I'm looking at ponytails is actually something that I saw kind of pop up. Is that they're going to start for every single race, they're going to introduce some sort of ponytails in 3.0. Um, and I think it's Takeo Sakazuki or Suzuki from the dev team announced it just randomly on
Yao
one of the Japanese.
Suzuki. I don't know.
Yeah,
Japanese names are hard for me to say. Sorry to any people who actually know how to pronounce this, but
yeah.
we're
And
just gonna roll with Takeao.
we'll take our ignorant tongues and you can kind of correct us if you know how to correct us on it. But so yeah, he posted this kind of just randomly on the Japanese lodestone forums. Um, and you know, this is kind of news. A lot of people really care about the cosmetic stuff in here, and every time they announce new haircuts, people just kind of flip their stuff, just trying to figure out how they're going to set up their character
Hey,
next.
hey, the best thing about each new patch is definitely the hair.
Is
It's
it?
like every new patch, I just like, okay, what's the new hairstyle that I can use? That is the biggest thing I look forward to.
Well, honestly, I haven't changed my hair since I started the game. All I did was build up the biggest, baddest looking row that I could make, gave him a hairstyle that I liked, and then I was done. But now, since I'm going on this thing where I'm only wearing the Moogle head, it doesn't even matter what my hair looks like. But uh,
What is hair? We can't even tell what your.
you don't even know what my face looks like anymore. Did you even see my character before the Moogle head?
I have not.
It's pretty funny. I can do a close up on it real quick. Let me uh, show you if I can get it and move this off. He's a handsome guy.
No,
He's so handsome. Look at him, man.
my eye.
I have no reason to ever change my hairstyle. I'm pretty happy with it. But it still can't outdo the Moogle head. Alright, so going into that a little bit more too. Um, do you think they're gonna have like a ton of new hairstyles and things that are just gonna kind of casually announce until 3.0, or is it just like, do people care enough to?
Well, I mean, the way they've been doing hairstyles so far is like they like for a few races they do exclusive, and then later on the next patch they put the exclusives to the other races. But currently with this patch, what they had did is that they had put like three different hairstyles for like almost each race, and they were shareable. There was no exclusive.
Oh, I got you. Well,
Yeah, going to 3.0 and beyond, I feel like they're still going to be adding more hairstyles, but at the same time, we're still going to have the issues that we have currently now, such as clipping and well, mainly clipping.
yeah. And just for everyone else, I did have my banner kind of up there blocking my face, just so you guys can see my beautiful face again. I'm gonna zoom back in here and pop it out one more
You are
time. There we go. There's that beautiful face. All right, back
my
to Moogle. And thanks, Ellie, for pointing that out too. All right, so going back, another interesting piece of news that I found over the week is the Final Fantasy 14 Soul website is actually having uh, I don't know, a renaissance. It's being revived by a user, Reddit user I know is at least J Twitch. And it's basically, a website that does statistics on the game. Uh, and it goes in there, tells you how many people play this class, how many people play this race, and how many active players are on this server. Um, it has a long amount of work before we actually see any results from it, though. Um, Basically, what he's doing is he's rewritten the code to how it's going to gather the information, and he's pinging the Lodestone server about 400 character profiles per minute, and that's a lot, but he could do a lot more than that. But he'd probably get banned from seeing that website. Um, it updates on the website maybe once an hour or
that sounds
so.
pretty fun.
Yeah, it's some people really know their stuff. I don't know how I could program that. And then it scans, multiple profiles multiple times. And so once it's done with its first scan, it's going to go back and rescan everything again so it can see if there's any equipment changes on the characters. And that way he'll know if this character is actually active or not. The unfortunate part is that it's going to take probably a few months for the first scan to even be done. So we won't really see the results of the website for almost half a year, which really sucks. But if you wanted to see the website, you could go to xivsoul.com and you can kind of see where it's on progress. Right now, when I checked earlier today, it was at 2.70%. What?
Wow. But here's the one thing I kind of want to ask.
Sure.
What is the benefit of this site to, I guess, the average player? What is this benefit to us?
Yeah, this is This is just information, man. It's reading. So
Oh
what?
God, reading.
So it's like having a census. Every 10 years they come by and they say, fill out how many people live in your house. Da 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 da. And well, they don't do that anymore. I think you do all that by the internet, but um, it's just information gathering. So hey, I play a row, but only 5% of the entire game plays a row, and 50% plays a cat girl.
You mean everyone plays a cat girl?
Almost everyone plays a cat girl. Yeah. And so, I mean, you're looking at uh, just information for interest. There's nothing really more to it than that. And the guy who actually runs the website admitted he doesn't even play the game. He plans on looking to get into the game. But right now, he doesn't even have a character in the game. So
So if anything, it's just like that census that they had did a while back, right?
yeah, yeah. And so it's just a census. I mean, they did that since I think this is the same website for that census. It's just a new
Oh, really?
person
So they
took it
use that
over.
site for the actual census? God
Yeah.
damn.
So the guy like took it over and he redid a whole bunch of things that it was having issues with, and he's just making it better. Although it's still going to take a long time for it to get up there. And the benefit for him is that he could put advertisements on the website and make a little money while it's going on. So I think that's the main reason that he got into it, and it seems like he's interested in looking
Well,
into it.
seems fair.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, with that, I do not envy this person who is doing all this work. I can barely imagine how to do any of that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't think. I mean, I'm taking a C sharp class now, and I'm actually getting a little bit into it. Um, but even then, I don't think that I would get to the point of dealing with it. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's some guy out there watching this stream, or some guy watching this on YouTube, and he sees this, and he's like, I could do this in 2 seconds. Well, then do it in 2 seconds and make it better. You know, get people to go to your website and make a little profit off of it.
It's all about the money.
Yeah. Moving on to the next bit of information I have is there was another batch of RMT bans, which I'm assuming is real money trading bans.
Real
And
money
they,
trading.
yeah, real money trade. I don't know. RMT. What would RMT stand for you?
I'm just gonna go with real money trading.
It,
That I never bothered with it. I just know bots.
real money transactions. Yeah, and so bots. That's kind of what we're looking at. Um, and that you get spammed all the time by bots. I get spammed all the time by bots, and they tell me that I'm not perfect and that it's okay. And sometimes I
Funny enough,
appreciate
I
that.
just got spammed the message from a bot.
Yeah, and there's so much of it though, and it's really hard to report every single one of the people who do it, and you don't really see any kind of your efforts being rewarded. So you're just like, why do I even try? I just ignore it and go on with my day and just accept it as just another person randomly spamming me. And you blacklist them or you don't blacklist them. Maybe them saying it's okay, you're not perfect, makes you want to not blacklist them. But they went and they did some bans, and between February 5th and 12th, they banned I think 551 Gil spammers. So the people who actually message you saying the nice little messages, or sometimes they just kind of a whole bunch of random symbols in your name, or they say absolutely nothing. They just link
Hey,
you to a
buddy,
website.
would you like to buy some Gil?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's a whole variety of them out there now. And so 500 of those guys got banned. That doesn't seem like a whole lot to me. I feel like I get 500 messages a day. Uh, so I don't know how much progress is being made there. Maybe it's a lot more than I think it is, but the next part is they banned 7,283 people for illicit activity. And I'm assuming this means people who actually buy and sell the gill. And these are
Well, I
permanent
mean,
bans
illicit
too.
activity could be a number of things. I mean, it could actually be like actual hacking from. I mean, it's a very broad term. I mean, RMT could be a huge part of it, but it
Hmm.
could be like a number of other things like game breakings, like actually they may be actually taking like what's it called, parsing, like public parsing
Oh, I'm
simulation
sure.
as part of a thing.
Yeah, and
So things of that nature.
yeah, and people going out there and parsing and saying, "Hey, your DPS sucks. It's only these numbers," and constantly doing that. I'm guessing they fall into that category too. Um, but I don't know if they would permanently ban them for that. Uh, the action details they're talking about on this list for the 7,283 people are permanent bans, like they could never play the game again. So I'm guessing it's mainly
Ouch.
people like who are actually involved in trying to make money off of the game with guild selling and stuff like that.
They
There,
could also fall into the old standby of selling your account to someone else.
yeah, that too. They could ban those. I can definitely see those be permanently banned. Um, but they also did temporary bans on 102 accounts for illegal activity in RMT, which I'm assuming is the same thing. Just these guys maybe had a good excuse, like, oh, I didn't know guild selling was illegal, or I didn't know guild buying was illegal, or like you were saying,
Everyone gets a free pass.
yeah, everyone gets one. Uh, or
Hopefully.
actually players who are trying to play the game and they just get stuck in a bad situation. Um, or like you said, maybe they were doing something that SE frowns upon, like telling people they have low DPS numbers or what have you. So what exactly are your thoughts, Jack, on gil selling in the game?
It's bad. Please don't spam me.
Bad, please don't spam me. Yeah.
But
Uh,
here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't understand why people need to buy Gil. I mean, you could get yourself a decent chunk of money every week if you do your roulette, if you're a tank,
mhm.
and if you do your maps, and you actually get lucky with the what sort of drops as well from the maps.
Yeah, I never really understood it. I always look at Gil selling kind of like the Nigerian prince emails. Like, why would I even risk messing with that situation? Even if I got Gil from the situation, chances are I'm probably going to be hacked too.
And
Um,
another thing too, there's not a whole lot to spend in game at this time. I mean, the
yeah.
biggest skill sink is currently is housing, but unfortunately, a lot of the small house plots are already gone and taken. So people who have all this skill, they can't spend it on anything. And the other skill sink is crafting.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess that might be it. Maybe people who want to get into crafting and get in there and be legitimate by being non-legitimate first. And do a lot of illegal activities to go, straight, get off the streets. I
Well,
don't know.
it does take a lot of money to get into crafting. I think legitimately I spent like 300K to at least get to 1 through 50, but that's because I had gathered half my materials at the very least.
Right. I
If someone
haven't
was just
even.
doing it 1 from 50, just like with like no gathering, with
Hmm.
like just buying everything from the market board, you'd probably be spending close to maybe 500K to a mil if you're buying like HQ materials.
That actually doesn't seem like a lot to me, to be honest. Um,
Well, I
I've.
mean, okay, but let me put it this way: to like a fresh 50, yeah, it's a lot. But I mean,
Right.
to us who's been here for a whole year, it's easy money to come by. It's not that hard. And this also this is gonna tie into another thing too, is that with all the gil that we have, all the gold, it's
Hmm.
gonna accumulate to the point that like how World of Warcraft is right now. It's just like there's too many people that have way too much money and nothing to spend it on.
No, yeah, you're right. I think they need to have some sort of ridiculously high price things, gil wise. Although I think right now with crafting and where a lot of people are with building up and leveling up crafting, actually, the people who work the markets, I'm sure they're a gil billionaires out there.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, just look at me.
yeah, I mean, you just have tons of money. Um, I mean, yeah, you can buy a house and you can buy other stuff, but what else are you going to burn your money on? You just kind of hoard it for a while, and maybe they do need to have a lot of options where, hey, you can just spend all this excess gil to quickly get through Golden Saucer, which I think they are actually
Gold
adding.
Saucer? Gold Saucer seems like the best choice for this, obviously.
Yeah, they are actually doing that though. I think from what I read and what it looks like is that they're going to have a kind of daily sync that you, or not daily, maybe it's weekly. You can buy
No, there's
2,000
there. If you're
points or
talking about
something.
the pot, the pots, right?
I'm talking about the coins that you buy or whatever you get from doing the mini games and everything else.
How I've read how that works is that you can only spend so much for a certain amount of tokens.
Mhm.
past that point, you can't buy any more via Gil. You would
Like
have to win more via the games themselves.
like completely, or is it just like a weekly reset? Like every week you can spend a
No,
certain
no,
amount.
that's it is. It's just pretty much set. After that point, you can only buy so much with Gil.
That doesn't make any sense to me that they would be like a one-time deal. I would think that they would want to keep that like as something you could spin and blow your money on once a week.
Well,
So,
here's another thing too, is that there's two pots that you can purchase. One is daily and one is weekly.
hmm.
So every day there will be a pot that's going on, and every week there will be
Oh, like the
another pot.
jackpot, right?
Yeah, a jackpot. So I
Okay,
mean, there's that option.
that's
So, but
true.
like I said, for like playing game wise, you'll be only set to a certain amount that you can buy via Gil. After
Mhm.
that, you would have to play the games. But there is a pot that you can purchase every day to get more, and then there's the weekly one. So hopefully those are going to be some money sinks, and then God knows what's going to happen with the chocobo racing.
Oh yeah, God. I hope they do like. I hope they eventually introduce something like horse racing. You can just start betting on the chocobos during the race.
Uh,
I would
hopefully,
love
just
that.
like place your bets.
Yeah.
My money's on the Rogan.
Spectator. Yeah, I'm gonna spend. I don't know if my game's gonna turn off all of March. I'm sure I'll be playing Chocobo Racing and Triple Triad and everything uh, throughout
Oh yeah,
that
then
entire
there's
month.
triple triad too. But then again, have a good portion of it's going to be through actually battling NPCs. So hopefully there's be some
Yeah.
more guild involved into that option.
Mhm.
And then there's the whole you got to do dungeons to get certain cards. So
Yeah. Well, we went off kind of on a tangent on that one, but sorry about that. But the one last note I wanted to actually talk about on the RMT bans. Jack, do you think that Square Enix is actually doing enough? Uh, do you think that they're putting in the effort they need to get this taken care of?
that is a very hard question to answer because I mean you see the posters that they make that they
Mhm.
ban so many people every I guess every major patch
Mhm.
or every maintenance. But obviously they're not. I mean, to some people they say they're not doing enough because I mean they're still spamming us. They're still hitting us hard every day, no matter what we're doing.
Yeah. Um.
Is there more that they could do? I mean, they could dedicate people just dedicated to just banning them as soon as they pop up. But I mean, that's a lot of manpower and that's a lot of time. I mean, there is no way to really get rid of them.
Yeah. No, I think. I don't think they'll ever be able to completely squash them. They're always going to be around, and they're always going to be causing trouble and be annoying. I do know that there was a period, I forget which patch it was, they introduced a new system to the game, and guild spammers just stopped, like completely stopped for almost a month, and then they started to come back in.
I
Uh,
think wasn't it, I don't know. I think it was like what 2.2 or something. I don't know. It had to do with the
Maybe.
chat. Like after if they spent so much spam so much, it would just like stop them for a good couple of minutes.
Right. And that helped out a lot, but they of course they came back and forth and they found a way. They always find a way. Uh, But from kind of a lot of things that I'm reading too is that Square Enix, they're purposely not banning a handful of people, and they let them go through their activities. That way they can catch everyone involved and get bigger rewards with their bans instead of just quickly banning a Gil spammer. I don't know if that's true or not. Uh,
I don't know. I mean, that could be said for anyone really.
yeah.
That's more that falls more into the conspiracy theory, like who you working for, drawing lines.
Yeah, yeah. It would be interesting if they went into that detail, but I don't think they have the manpower to do that. Especially not with all the content they're throwing out there. And when they were talking at a fan fest, they don't have a lot of manpower. They did a lot of stuff with just a handful of people. Um, but moving forward is an interesting little bit of news that's kind of Final Fantasy 14 related. Is that we have a character being featured in the new game, the new Dissidia, which I know you're really excited about.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's Ishtola. Is that right? Am I pronouncing that right?
Yishtola.
Ishtola. Yeah. She's taking her tree branch and she's going into Dissidia to battle Cloud and everyone else. But it's only going to be in arcades, I think, in Japan.
No.
So I know you have a lot of. I'm actually really ignorant towards Dissidia. I know it's a Final Fantasy game that's fighting and it's based just with a lot of popular Final Fantasy characters. When I was looking at the previews for it, it definitely looked like 3D Dragon Ball Z fighting kind of game. Uh, but a lot of people kind of have their opinions too uh, on it if Ishtola was the right choice to make for the game because she does not really that. She's a good character, but she's not that exciting of a character. So in terms of the new Dissidia, tell me about your excitement and your disappointment at the same time, Jack.
Well, one, they finally made a new Dissidia, so to them, great job. Disappointing? It's only arcade and it's only available to Japan. So if you
Yeah,
want to play it, you have to go to Japan. This is a little bit off topic, but it's the same thing with that Poke tournament that they're doing as well. That
yeah.
Pokemon fighting game made by Namco, Japan only, arcades. I'm like, God dang it.
Yeah, it would be
Yeah,
amazing to play it. It looks like it would be a fun game to play, but
I mean, if we were to bring it over to consoles, put it online, they would
mhm.
they would make a lot of money off of that, honestly.
No, I'm sure they would, and it would be. I hope that eventually they come to their senses and they do something like that. Either they bring it to consoles or they do something. I know the arcade scene in America sucks in comparison to Japan.
What are arcades?
Yeah, I don't know if America even really knows what arcades are anymore. Um, I remember back in the day, it was amazing. Arcades were one of my favorite things to do, but just a while they died out. Consoles, I think, kind of squished them. So, but
Yeah, consoles. I don't know, like consoles. Once the console scene picked up here in America, arcade scenes just pretty much died. If you wanted to go play an arcade, you would have to go to like a Peter Piper Pizza or like some kind of pizza
yeah.
joint for kids and play them there.
And they're old used arcade games too. Like they don't have a lot of new
Yeah,
ones that
it's
come out.
like and one of these pizza joints that we have. I mean, they have a working Marvel vs. Capcom 2 machine. It's pretty cool, right? But the
Yeah.
controls are all janked and just they don't respond. But I'm just like, God damn it.
I remember going to the movie theater. I think those were the last places arcades were kind of surviving at, and I'd play like Time Crisis. Uh, and I loved that game, and I played it, and I wasted so much money on it. And then I had a point where you're using the gun, and the gun just doesn't work anymore, and they don't get a new Time Crisis in there, and so it's just rotting, and the arcade scene just keeps going down, and eventually they just have a whole bunch of those little arm grab things, and you can win a game that came out 20 years ago, Guster or Corey's Buster in the House or whatever, for the DS as a prize.
Yeah, the
But
one that no one really gets, but disappears the next day you go there, and you're like, what happened?
yeah. Oh yeah, and Dave and Buster's definitely
I
was it's
totally
like
forgot
the
about
only
Dave
good.
and
Yeah,
Buster's. That is a thing too.
that's the thing too. I guess they exist. I don't think I've been once. I don't think I've been more than that. I guess Dave and Buster's is a good example
I've
for.
driven past it many times, but I've never stepped foot into the establishment.
Yeah. So I don't know if they're really a great place or not. I'm assuming that they could be a great place to meet up. Um, and Dissidia, how would you like it if they brought Dissidia as an online game? Like,
I'd be for it, but the online can't suck. I mean, if the
yeah.
online sucks, like if it uses like a P2P system, a peer-to-peer connection,
Mhm.
it's gonna suck ass. Like you have to be make sure like both of these people have to have great connections, but even at that point, it's still gonna suck if they work from like from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Yeah, which kind of has me worried about Truckabo Racing too. I hope they got.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There are some decent, fighting games that work really well with online. If they're gonna bring the city over, and if it has online functionality, and it should have online, if they're gonna bring it over here to the states, the online has to be really, really good. It has to be top notch.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree on that. I don't know if. See, that would be the thing. They would just kind of port it over to the systems because people have a lot of demand for it, and I don't know if it would be worth it in the end, right? Because if it sucks, then people are gonna buy it. They'll mess around with it. I'd still buy it. I don't care if it online
Yeah,
sucks.
I'd
I'd.
still buy it too because I mean, I played the first two original Dissidias. I
Mhm.
mean, they're great to play. It's a good way to waste your time when you're
Yeah.
bored. But the real charm came from fighting against someone else. Uh,
Mhm.
I mean, in my area, there was not a whole lot of people who had PSPs, and the people that didn't even have the Cydia. They were playing something else. So it's like even then I was still like alone playing it, and it's like
Yeah. Well, I'd
it's
play with
hard.
you.
It's just like
I'd play with you, Jack.
oh, thank you.
Yeah.
But like it's a good game. I love it. It's not balanced in terms of fighting in
Mhm.
a fighting game scenario. But even with 4 players, it's just like the way they did it, like 4 players, it's just like man, it's gonna be something.
Yeah. I think they were. It was like a. They're planning 3 versus 3 in this Dissidia, right?
I think it was four. Four?
4.
If there was three, I think there was. I saw three, but I think it's four. I could be
Yeah.
wrong on this one.
That's crazy. I would love to play that. I would love to
I
see
mean,
the
and,
arcade
and
set up
and when
for
you
it.
brought it up, it does kind of look like Dragon Ball Z now. This looks way more cinematic versus the other two.
Yeah.
But then
I.
again, it was on the PSP, so it was limited, what it could do. But it
Mhm.
was still pretty fun, like running up walls, smashing Golbez or Cecil to the ground,
Yeah.
playing as Jack, just grabbing the meteors and throwing it at people's faces.
Mhm. Well, let's expand on this a little bit too. That since there's a lot of people talking about Ishtola not actually being the right choice, what do you think about her being a character in that game? Even though we're probably never going to be able to play it, we can go ahead and talk about it.
Well, I'm gonna bring this to another game. The Theater Rhythm with Curtain Call, they
Hmm.
had brought Y'shtola into that one as the Final Fantasy 14 representative as well in there.
Huh.
So if there was going to be a new Dissidia game, there was a question on who to bring. The Scions were a good choice. You could bring them in there and it'd be fine.
Hmm.
But how Dissidia works, there has to be a one for I guess I'll put it in layman's terms, good and then bad.
Right.
So if they put Y'shtola in there, they have to have a counterpart to Y'shtola. So that brings up the question: who's going to be the main villain?
Hmm.
So as since it's 14, there's like two possible people that they could put in there. It's gonna be Nail Van Darnus or
Hmm.
La Hebrea.
Yeah, those are the two that I would think would be the that would oppose her the most. It'd be
I,
funny if
I
they
would
put
put
like Truitania or something like that in there. Uh.
it could. Those could be like a summon within the game because they do have a form of summoning,
Hmm.
so they could be that way. So they could put like Bahamut or whatever, like
Right.
the 14th version of Bahamut. But for hero wise, 14, it's very hard to decide who to pick. Some people were
Hmm.
saying they should have just put the Highlander from the main guy per se, the warrior
Hmm.
as the hero, but he's too generic and anybody could be him.
Right. Well, I
And just
mean,
like okay, so then we go back to the science again. Okay, so who would we choose? Like, well, they could have picked Thancred, they could have picked Ida, they could have picked they could have
hmm,
picked anyone.
yeah, no, they could have picked a lot of different people. Yeah, it would be kind of funny if they put Afanald in there. Uh,
Alphanal. They
uh,
could have. I would have preferred Hida to be in there, but they already have a monk S character, and that's from the Final Fantasy 11 side, and that is with Prish.
hmm,
So they didn't. I guess they didn't want another monkish character in there, so I guess that would put Ida out. They would have
yeah,
put Papalumo in there as well, due to the fact that they also from 11 they have Shanto, which is who is also a black mage. So I guess they didn't want another caster of sorts into the game. But the game itself has a heavy amount of casters to the point. Why did they put Y'shtola? And
yeah,
that would leave Oringar, Minfilia, and Thancred.
right,
Minfilia, we have never seen battle at once. If anything, she's always the damsel
right,
in distress. So,
yeah,
probably useless character to begin with.
hmm,
Urinjar is another caster, but he works with summons, so I work like with like Yuna does.
hmm,
Yuna is also part of the city, so probably using summons to do attacks. So I guess they didn't want another summoner character in the
yeah,
game. Thancred and Y'shtola are probably like the only two plausible choices in the matter, but I don't see any reason why they didn't put Thancred in. Again, this is still early in development, so they could be
Yeah.
putting multiple characters in. So
Yeah.
it's still up in the air, but Yashola is obviously the one that they showed off, and I think it's probably, I mean, to an extent, it's no surprise that they put Yashola because they put Yashola into Theater Rhythm,
Yeah, well,
and
I mean, but then she already has a spotlight in another game. So I kind of think the opposite of that. I think she's already had her turn. Give someone else a turn and let them
well,
go
why
do it.
had okay then let me ask you this question: why haven't they put Cloud down under?
I don't know, man.
He had a spotlight. I think they should put him down.
Didn't they have? They're having Cloud in Dissidia, right?
They had Cloud in every iteration of
Yeah.
Dissidia.
Okay. What about Louis Waugh?
Louis Wall would be an interesting choice, but if anything, it may just be like how Yashola is playing, because if anything, he's like also a caster.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he would have been also another excellent choice to be put into the game, whether it be a skin or maybe another character to be put into the game. I mean, when you play Final Fantasy 14, you have this trouble. Who's the main hero? It's obviously the character that you create,
Mm-hmm.
and that is the problem when they look to these online games. So they have to look towards NPCs. There is two NPCs that you can look at: Louis Swa, and then the Scions themselves. Those are the two main groups that you can associate with heroes.
Yeah, that's true. Uh, that makes a lot of sense to me too, because I mean they are the heroes of the game, and there's other cool characters from the game that you could put in there, but they're with their own factions. They're not. They're part of maybe some of the issue, like the faction leaders. They're all sometimes they're not agreeing with each other, and they're not actually part of being the heroes of the game. It's always up to the science and yourself to actually make things right.
It's always up to us who single-handedly destroyed Coil. Just
Yeah,
saying.
exactly. People who are just destroying Coil repeatedly. Um, all right, well, that's
It's just, like I said, just, sorry, but it's just hard to choose. So I guess Yusola was just like the failsafe, I suppose,
well, she
for
just
the
looks
game.
plain to me. Like when you see her and she just brings her little twig up and she's just shooting green balls out, you're just like, it doesn't make it seem interesting. It doesn't seem exciting. Um,
Well, yeah, I'll give you that, but there's not a whole lot they can do with casters. I
yeah.
mean, to an extent, I did see the trailer. What they did do is that not only did they give her white mage abilities, but also black mage abilities, because I
Hmm.
saw like what seemed to be like a Blizzard 3 going off. So
So I'm
I
guessing
guess
with that 3 versus 3 or 4 versus 4 setup, uh, there might be need for healing in it, right? So is that kind of the concept too? Is that you?
not necessarily. That's not how it works. I mean,
Huh.
with healing, well, I mean, it works like with equipment. If you equip certain equipment that heals you, you'll heal.
Okay.
But there's no ability to my knowledge that I can remember that actually heals you for a certain amount.
I mean, it would be kind of exciting to have like a PvP kind of format where they have like a healer, a couple of, and some like really hard damage dealers, and each group has to have the right kind of setup and they fight each other. That would be kind of interesting to me.
That would be interesting to see, but the way the game is designed, it's
Hmm.
not going to play out that way. I mean, you have like your standard abilities, like like stone, wind, or whatever, but it doesn't have like any cure abilities. But they have like regen. Well, I think regen's the only thing they have. They don't think I don't think they have anything like poison or stone or anything like that, really.
Right. All right. Well, let's go on to the next subject. I think we gave the city a lot of time on that one, even though
Woo!
it's barely even, news for Final Fantasy 14 is more of just kind of a neat little note for Dissidia that it's going to have a 14 character in there. One thing that I found recently while going through the forums, and there's Yoshida made a guest appearance on one of the servers, and one of the Japanese servers, Masamune. I think I'm probably saying that wrong. Jack
Masamune.
Masamune.
I'm pretty sure all the Sephiroth fans will kill you at this
Yeah,
point.
I'm sure they will rip me apart. I'm probably one of the worst people with names, and that's a huge flaw for me. But
But
uh,
that's what makes you you.
yeah, that's what makes me me, I guess. But he jumped on the server, and he just started answering people's questions. It was kind of just a random mini Q&A he did. And he did that just a few days ago, and there was proof on it because on SE's Twitter page they put screenshots of it on there, showing him talking to people on the server. And
Do you know what it entails?
yeah, yeah, and so I was able to pull from a Reddit post on there, and all this credit goes to the username Salty Sunbro. He did a lot of quote unquote light transition or translations on some of the stuff that was being said there. Um, there is going to be a reward system in the Alexander raid that's just going to be different than the Binding Coil loot system. And I don't know what that could even entail, but that's one of the questions that was asked, was kind of how the loot system for the Alexander raid was going to be, and they just said it was going to be different. So how else could they do the loot system, Jack?
I mean, they could do like a token system or maybe a currency, but
Right.
I don't really see how that would work. Because I mean, in different MMOs, you could do the raids. Then once you no, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Mhm.
You get a quest, you do the raids, you complete the raid or specific portions of the raid.
Mhm.
You complete the quest. Once you complete the quest, you turn it in and you get tokens. Then from the tokens, you talk to an NPC and then purchase what you need. This is a repeatable daily that you could do.
That kind of makes sense. A lot of people would probably like that more too, because everybody could get loot at the same time.
And they can also uh, choose which ones they would like rather than wait or rely on RNG.
Like all that monk loot that drops for us, that we don't have any need for. But yeah, no, it's just I can kind of see that working. It'll for me though. I'm kind of I guess a dumb player. I like the risk and the kind of excitement. Oh, am I actually going to get something from this, or is it going to be a complete waste? I mean, you kind of have that roll of the dice to go with, but it kind of sucks when you're farming for something and you've downed, let's say you downed T13 since it came out, you still don't have your weapon yet because of
You have
RNG.
you have like 20 white mage staves at this point.
Yeah, and you have all of your other alts just completely capped out in gear, but I mean, you don't have anything for your main class just because you're unlucky. So that does kind of suck. Maybe they'll introduce something in the they'll make it to where you can kind of manage that a little bit. But I think that's kind of what um, you know the poetic gear is supposed to be, right? It's supposed to be, hey, we have this other set of gear that's not the exact same set of gear. It looks different. It has different stats, and you can kind of mix and match. And in the worst case scenario, you'll have straight I-30 or I-130 gear just from doing your poetics every week.
Yeah, I could. I mean, another way they could put it is like, uh, since you like the risk of
Hmm.
you do coil and then see what kind of loot you get. They
Yeah.
could do that. What they could do is they could drop specific amount or a specific kind of loot via the dungeon itself, but with
Hmm.
the token system, you have to purchase the rest via that way.
I
Or
gotcha.
they could do it, or they could also do it this way. They put everything in there, but it also has a chance to be like cursed or locked, and you would need to use specific materials that you get within the raid itself to unlock it.
Hmm. I mean, that would be interesting. I would. I'm kind of excited about it, but at the same time, I just don't want them. Like, one reason I'm playing Final Fantasy is because I am so tired of WoW. It has drained me from all of interest I ever had playing with that game. I love the game. It had a great story, but it's been fleshed out. There's nothing else you can really add to it. I mean, they're going
It's
into
amazing that they're still going at it. I think
yeah.
it should have stopped at some point, but I gotta give them props. They're still going, but
I
I
mean, you
mean,
still have 11,
obviously,
right?
it's I,
So
I'm just saying. I mean, I've kept
yeah.
up with it. I mean, I have friends that still play it, but I mean, they're at this point. I'm just like, hey, are they gonna stop at some point? It seems like they're just making things out of thin air just to keep things rolling.
Yeah. But that's all right. I mean, uh, I just I love the way Final Fantasy is set up right now, and I love going into a raid and knowing that that difficulty is difficult. It's hard. It's something you have to practice to clear. Um, and there's not
T13
like
too
an
hard.
easy version of it. There's not easy mode, moderate and hard mode. You just have you beat it, you have an accomplishment. You to get in past
You
the
only have
story, you have to have
extreme or
skill.
brutal.
Yeah, I mean it's and then that is just more of doing it for fun. That's just challenge mode. It's not even like anything that could benefit you. You're not expected to clear that stuff. So the other question that was asked was a question in regards to Frontlines, and basically he just said that Frontlines is going to have there's going to be new rules added to it and a new map. I don't think you've touched Frontlines too much, have you? Or am I just kind of
I
imagining
have
that?
not. I mean, I've only played like maybe like about 6 matches in total. So I could check my PvP profile, but I'm too
Hmm.
lazy to.
Yeah, I haven't played a lot of matches either. I do want PvP to take off a little bit more. In this game, PvP isn't nearly at the state that I want it to be at. I would love it to have ranking system and have stuff that's similar. Like that's the one thing I do like about WoW is that they have a perfect balance in their game. But at the same time, if you had that perfect balance for Final Fantasy, they wouldn't be able to pump out 3 classes for an expansion because then they would have to rebalance everything to work with those 3 classes. Um, so I don't know. I know that Yoshida wants to go forward and make PvP a bigger thing in the game. I just I hope there's going to be more to it, and they actually add some kind of rules in there where you have. I mean, they have the ranking system right now where you can be #1 player or whatever
Yeah, but I
points,
mean
but
the ranking system doesn't really do too much. I mean,
yeah.
honestly.
And
If
I would,
anything, all it really does is like like it puts you on the leaderboards, and then it also gives you more. Well, it gives you a reskin of the armor that they just put out.
yeah. And I mean, I would love if when they do their next fan fest, they're not doing one this year, but when they do their next fan fest, if they had a tournament and they had some sort of PvP system that would work with that tournament, uh, and then it could actually be a competitive sport. And then this would be something that would be a new e-sport, would be Final Fantasy PvP. I would love to see that
Final
happen.
Fantasy 14 MLG, get your Doritos and Mountain Dew ready, guys.
I would love it. It would make me very excited. I'd probably go for full force with it, and you'll see me over at FanFest getting that trophy and popping the champagne and throwing it on everyone. Uh,
Oh my.
Big dreams, big dreams. Another small note is the Setster set. Someone was asking about if it was going to be, the set that's going to be a reward from Golden Saucer. They were wondering if it was going to be male only, and it is. It's going to be
You
exclusive
mean
to only male
the Setzer
characters.
outfit
Yep,
only?
yep, it's going to be
Oh
male
man.
only. Some people are upset
Well, I
about
mean, it
that,
kind of
but
figures.
yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, Setzer was a dude.
yeah, they do have a lot of liberties of letting you dress however you want in this game, but when they had the lightning event, they had the what's that guy's name? I already forgot it. It was lightning
Snow.
and snow. Yeah, snow. They had their outfits, and that's only male and female, right?
Yeah, I mean, Snow is male and then Lightning is female.
So it makes sense. I can't see that being a big deal. But that's just another note that he had in there. People were kind of asking about the teaser website, and they're wondering when it was going to be updated, and they said that they're going to update it soon. The teaser website for 3.0. They're going to add new stuff to it, and I don't know what that is going to be, but
I don't know,
you
because
know,
I mean, it's soon, right?
yeah, trademark soon, so eventually it will happen. I don't
I mean,
know.
I'm looking forward to 3.0,
Oh
honestly.
God, yeah, I am definitely looking forward to it. I want to
I
become a
really
new
want that
class.
collector's edition. I want that statue.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree. And
Also, I want that Cecil helmet. That's like all my want.
yeah, and I love how they're introducing the 3 classes because that means that there's going to be tons of people playing 3 classes, not tons of people playing just the one
Which
class.
kind of, I mean, this is gonna be off topic, but it kind of hopefully this evens out the problem that we have currently right now, due to the fact that when they release ninjas, DPS queue times, at least for low levels, are heavily skewed right now. They're
Hmm.
just totally messed up. I mean,
Yeah.
people are waiting 30 to an hour just to get into a dungeon that lasts maybe 30 minutes in itself, that may or may not take off due to the fact that the tank may be incompetent and then leave.
Yeah.
Then they're stuck there waiting for a new tank that may or may not come.
Yep. That's exactly true. And I'm hoping with a healer, a tank, and 1 DPS, you have 2 people in there that could fill those roles that are usually short, then 1 DPS, then it should make it kind of even out, and maybe DPS queues can get down to something like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, it should even out, and due to the fact that the new tank class is the Dark Knight,
hmm That a
I
lot of
know
people
I
are
am
gonna.
Batman. I
Yeah.
I know this, like, a lot of people were pissed, like, oh no, Dark Knight's a tank. I'm just like, to me that seemed like the most logical explanation that they could have done for Dark Knight. I
hmm
mean, sure, it's supposed to be the opposite of the Paladin, but this is 14, so they could take a whole different meaning behind it. So
hmm
that's my excuse. I'm gonna roll with that for right now until they
Yeah.
prove me wrong.
Uh,
But I mean, people were looking forward to Dark Knight. I mean, there was, like, on the main forums itself, it was like there was like a 30-page or 40-page forum
hmm
thread going about on it, and just like, it's like it should be DPS class, and you had other people like it should be a tank. People want to play it. If it's a tank, we would have
Yeah.
more tanks. This would help offset that.
Yeah, and I mean, I can see a Dark Knight being a tank, so I'm not
Plus,
too
we
upset
also
about
get to
it.
use great swords.
Yeah. Uh, and I had a question about bunny outfits and if they're going to be female only, but I actually don't think they are going to be
Pretty
female
sure.
only. I think they're going to give it to guys too, but we'll see.
Oh my.
I might sport one uh, on my row when I'm doing my chocobo
I,
racing.
I may just do that with you.
But another question that they had is that if they're going to do any updates to retainers, and they said there might be more retainers, or at least that's kind of a loose translation that was read from it, is that there might be.
Yeah, I think, like, on the main forums, someone had asked for like a third retainer by default, due
hmm
to the fact, we're going to 3.0. A lot of people already, as it is, with two retainers, or filled to the brim.
Yeah,
In my opinion, I don't know how that's possible. I mean, I'm still using only one, but that's just me. Then again, they might take up crafting, whatever. That's their thing.
yeah.
But I mean, I was reading this post, and he had I forgot who it was, but I guess it was just some community manager. But
hmm
he had said they were working to something to that effect. They can't give the third one for free, or they can't give a third retainer by default, but they were looking to expanding our inventory slots or something like that.
Right. And honestly, that would be a real big deal for a lot of people to get that extra inventory slot. But you know, retainers is one of those things I barely even touch. I barely put anything on retainers. I sell everything as soon as I get something. I don't even send my retainers on ventures. I don't do anything with them. And I'm starting to realize I should have probably uh, done that. I should have done some stuff with retainers because it's actually kind of interesting. When you go into other games like WoW, they have garrisons. They just now introduced garrison. It was a big deal, and you can send people off on missions. Final Fantasy kind of
Oh,
already had
that
that with
that kind of
retainers.
ties into something that was brought up before. I don't know how it's gonna work, but this kind of ties in with the whole dungeons would be soloable. I know people have been asking this for a while.
hmm
This will especially work well with with the DPS and their especially long DPS queue times. That
Oh yeah.
they would bring in three NPCs. You would control them, and they would level up with you. I believe, however, this would be tied with the Grand Company.
hmm
So I guess after a certain extent, you could do it.
I
But
kind of,
I
that sounds like a really cool idea, but then that kills the MMO side of it, right?
well, I mean, yes, it kind of does. But again, let's put it this way: if it only works to like the low levels, like, but after 50, they no longer works.
I could probably be okay with that. It's like because the leveling up in Final Fantasy is kind of a solo experience, anyways. Going
Yeah, I
through
mean, you're
quests and
in, you're
everything.
out. I mean, some people don't even say hi as it is. It's
Yeah,
like, does it matter if there's a person or an NPC behind it? You almost get the same thing.
yeah. And as long as they could cut that off before in game, because the last thing I would want is for people uh, to not talk to each other and not need each other anymore. I want people to say, "Hey, I need a tank," or "Hey, I
I
need a
mean, end game. I
DPS."
mean, end game people are still gonna need them.
Yeah. But if they can kind of cut off retainers for like the in-game stuff, then I'd be happy. I just don't want them to replace actual players of the game. Um,
But
so,
again, I mean, that's something that was just brought up and was mentioned. I don't know how it will work. Hopefully, it works kind of like that to an extent that
hmm
you can only take them so far via leveling. Then after that,
right,
it just kind of just stops. You can't use them anymore.
yeah, I'd be okay with that. Another note is about Crystal Tower. There's just a simple question about that. If there will be Crystal Tower-esque things in 3.0, and I'm pretty sure that's been answered quite a few times. Yeah, there's I'm going to be a lot of large scale raids that are similar to Crystal Tower, just because it's a successful aspect of the game. People kind of only do it for that easy gear that they can get from it, but I think they like the idea of having 24 people go in a dungeon and have to work together to do something. But the only way to do that is to make the content a little bit easier. Um,
It's because of those 16 other people that make that makes the run more interesting or
right.
that more unbearable.
Exactly. I mean, I like it. I think they should continue on with it in 3.0, because that definitely helps, especially people who can't get static groups, just to get a little bit closer to the end game than they would if that didn't exist.
And at
And
least they also get that rating experience. It's not the
yeah,
true hardcore rating, but I mean that's hardcore rating. That'll be
hmm
like for our group and whoever wants to pursue that.
yeah,
But at least they get that rating experience where they have to work with these other people just to get by.
yeah. No, I agree. And Crystal Tower, it's its own thing too. I mean, it's its own dungeon, own bosses, own strategies, and they're gonna have its own little story with it. So it's just more content. There's nothing I can say against it. So that's good. Um, Another question was, and I guess this might have been a big deal in the past. Are you familiar with like GM hosted events, or know if Final Fantasy 11 did that before?
No, I mean I played Final Fantasy 11 very little. I think I
hmm
played for like about a month or two before I was just like I can't do this. There's too much for me to do. I've like I'm in shock.
Right.
Because
Well,
I mean, just a little thing. As like, I came in when they had all the expansions. So I mean, what do you think is gonna happen?
yeah. Well, the thing about that, I played. I'm going to be honest. I played 11 for all of 3 days. I kept trying to jump and I couldn't jump, and so I quit. Uh, I had to have the jump ability for me to enjoy it. Coming from, because I actually started with WoW before going into Final Fantasy, and so I was used to jumping around in an MMO, and just not being able to do it just threw me off as a stupid reason. Because 11 was a great game. It's just I never got the chance to get into it.
I guess that was the selling point for 14. Now has jump.
Yeah, now has jump. Well, the question was about if there were going to be any GM hosted events in Final Fantasy 14, and basically Yoshida just said there's just too many worlds, too many different ways uh, to be able to even do that. There's just too much now. If they had like if it was a smaller community, then that would possibly be a chance. But since there's too many worlds, too many players, they just can't manage that kind of scenario.
So in other words, no.
Yeah, pretty much just no, which is kind of sad. If GMs did like marriage, that would be kind of neat too. But again, there's too many people getting married. If GMs kind of monitored over PvP,
Isn't that how they did it with 11? I mean, I remember reading this on a forum post. Like
yeah,
they
well,
had like an actual GM that was like monitoring it or something like that.
that's what Atari is telling me here in chat is that they used to have marriage. They had GMs involved in marriage and the PvP, and that was pretty much it. Um, But I mean, it would be neat to see like a GM kind of be active and participate with the server, but
I mean,
they
what
would
they
have to pay
could
a lot
do
of
is
people a lot of money.
they could like like do like a special PvP event, like we all chime in and it's like you'll have like a GM in there, like they would have to queue in too or something like that.
Yeah.
I
Um.
mean, that's the only way I see things working out. It's like they have like this big old event, like, oh,
mhm.
we'll do like Crystal Tower. Like if you join in, you'll be able to do with a couple GMs or whatever. I don't know. I mean, this is just I'm just spitballing here, but they could
Yeah.
do something like that.
Yeah. But then again, that takes manpower and resources away from doing other things like content. So I don't know if uh maybe one day.
Yeah,
Um.
maybe one day. I mean, like maybe when they're finally done updating 14.
Yeah. And GMs look kind of scary in this game too. I don't know if you've seen a picture of it, but I think it's like a
I think they're like the Asians or something like that, from what I
yeah, and
know.
they're like glowy and uh I think
Yeah,
that's kind
from
of
from
neat.
what I heard in 1.0, they were the Guardians.
Yeah. I wonder if they
They
have like
upgraded this
a
time.
an area where they can kind of hang out on the servers too. Because I know like in WoW there was a GM island, and they had like GMs just kind of hanging out in this little island,
It's
while they
probably
were.
the land of Eureka.
Yeah, that's probably what it is on the map. But another note from that Q&A was that there's possibly going to be something called Hamlet defense, which I don't know if you're familiar with that, but from what uh, it was apparently in 11, where maybe I'm wrong on that, but players could basically something Beast will start attacking multiple different points, and players need to go and defend those points, uh, and multiple people are going to be involved. You'll have Disciples of Hand, Disciples of Magic, and Disciples of War all involved in that because Disciples of Hand needs to give supplies. Then you'll have people healing and actually attacking uh, the Beastmen as they're going towards these points, and then
Ah, okay. It sounds like a. I mean, it sounds like a basic, defense.
yeah,
Like in another MMO that I had played, they had something similar to that, but it happened on a weekly basis, like on certain days. Like
yeah,
every Wednesday and Friday, they would have this, this town defense. Mobs would come into the towns, NPCs would be unavailable, and you would have to defeat the mobs within an hour's time.
hmm
If you were to defeat the certain amount of monsters within that time limit, you would everyone in the on that server would receive a buff, or yeah, on that buff, receive a buff.
okay,
Like it would give you like like plus 40 strength, plus 40 int, like like a big boost.
right,
And
right,
if you yourself do a certain amount of fights yourself, you get items like like foods, tokens. I mean, it was like an arcade game. Like tokens represent your life, so you could use tokens to if you die, use a token back into the game.
right.
But yeah, but you get stuff like that, stuff that would be useful to you.
Which I would be completely down for it. I mean, it would be worldwide too. I mean, you're not just talking about a certain area though. You're talking about multiple different points that people have to go and strategically defend. So
Yeah, I
it'd be
mean, I
like,
think if they do something like that, this would tie in very well with 3.0 due
yeah,
to the fact of a war. I mean, dragons are going to be flying in, or if it's not dragons,
hmm
whatever monsters that they want in. I
oh
mean, they'll
yeah,
tie in, very well.
and it'll be kind of like hunts, but people will have to work together for it to get an actual benefit.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, they could make it like put the urgency behind it that if you fail the event, the NPCs will be actually killed off, and you would have to like an hour afterwards for
oh,
them
that would
to
suck though.
respawn for them. And
Uh,
it was like, I mean, like this will put like a sense of urgency, something you have not many people have seen before. Like if you
yeah,
fail the event, everyone would be unavailable. Like the whole town would be like empty, desolate, whatever. I think that'd be pretty cool for them to do.
I would if it's on like tower or towns that don't matter that much and that would only give you like bonus stuff. Like if you win, then you get the bonus stuff from the town. Then I'd be okay with that. Uh,
Yeah, because it would suck if it's like if it happened like main city and like, well, I
yeah,
guess I can't do my quest within an hour.
we don't have enough people on our server. I guess we just can't do anything. Things like that. That would suck. But if it
In that
was,
respect, I guess that could work. They could use like a small town or I mean, it could work like like a fate,
hmm
but like a very specific fate that will pop up no matter where you are, like whether you're in Orozia or within the city state of Ishgard.
right. So that's actually exciting. I think that might be something that they introduced for 3.0, and I would definitely be up for that. And yeah, I am getting kind of a confirmation that 11 kind of did things of that nature. So the last point of that is that while Yoshida was kind of leaving, he said, "Hey guys, it's good talk, but I gotta go. My static's bugging me to come back." So
He has a static.
yeah, I don't know if that was
What
like
does
a
he play?
joke. He plays a black mage. I'm certain if he plays anything as a black mage, that's what
Oh god
he
damn it! He
loves.
had to play the Black Mage, so he's like our Rinsler.
Yeah, although he's probably like, if you fail, you might lose your job. I don't know who he. I can't imagine who he like. I guess with other Final Fantasy employees that he plays with. I can't think of anyone else that he
I'm
play with.
guessing because I don't know how that would work. I mean if it was had to be with like normal people, they'd be like, oh man, I'm like raiding with a like Yoshida,
hmm
Snapchat selfies.
Yeah, and so
I'm guessing it has to be other employees as well, since if they went with the public, they'd probably be harassed or
yeah, unless if he
something.
went incognito and he's just like has an alt somewhere that he just logs into and no one knows he's
That
Yoshida.
could be it too. I mean that's probably what it is that Probably they do probably do have like an incognito out that they're using just to play the game
That would be
and
kind
not be
of
bothered
cool.
by it.
Uh, but or he was just saying that, you know, to say that.
It's like there would be pool on fire.
Yeah, exactly. He's just kind of a nice little cheeky comment to say, and everyone's like, oh, he has a static. But it would be cool if he was actually playing the game and doing statics just to kind of give his own evaluation of everything.
It's like because like okay, we've seen the design. I kind of see it. I want to play it, see how it actually works out.
Hmm.
I think that's pretty cool
Yeah.
on his part. Like he gets to see like what the development team went through, and
Hmm.
then actually play it.
I hope it would be amazing. And I've seen Yoshida play, and he's died multiple times on Gilgamesh, the first one. So
Wow.
I don't know what kind of in-game skill he has.
Still stuck on T3.
Yeah, so I don't know where he's at within the game if he does have a
Maybe
static,
it was just
but
for show.
yeah,
Maybe he's just trying to have fun. Maybe he had one too many. Because I
right.
do know he was offered a lot of drinks.
Oh, he's constantly, I'm sure, intoxicated in some way. He probably just has alcohol in his blood. Uh, the guy's a cool guy though. When we saw him at FanFest, he's probably just putting on, his normal public face, but he was out there, just randomly out in crowds. He would just walk up and say hi to people and take pictures with people, and he's really cool in person. Um, we actually stood there and Kerr got a picture with him when
Oh,
we went.
cool.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, quick question that came from the chat is, so how do you think the 3.0 level raise is going to work, Jack? Like, do
You
you
mean
think,
like
I guess, do you think that it's going to be the same as 40 to 50? Or is it going to be like 35 to 50? Or is it going to be like 30?
that's what I'm mainly questioning. Because I mean, if anything, hopefully it's kind of like the 40 to 50 slog. It's just kind of like where it just dies down. You're just like,
Hmm.
there's not enough quests for me to level up. There's not enough. I mean, the dungeons themselves are not giving me enough next XP. It's
Hmm.
gonna be a while. However, what I mean, another thing that would be interesting is like if they did like a 1 through 50 slog, but that would seem way like that that'd just be like a hell of a grind right there.
Yeah. Uh, we'll see. I mean, I don't know exactly how that will work out. It's going to be definitely a grind. I can't imagine, it being similar to 40 to 50. That seems too short to me. It's an expansion. I would
Yeah.
think maybe 25 to 50 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that could work. As I mean, I think a 1 through 50 slog would just be too much.
Yeah.
But
That
a 20 to 50 doesn't seem too bad per se. Because at 40 to 50, it's just like it's kind of. I mean, it's kind of dragging, but it's not as long.
I feel like it should be longer. Maybe 30 to 50 or something like that.
But
I
we'll have to wait and see how that actually plays out.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if until they give us like an official statement on it, I don't know if it's going to be exactly. I could just speculate all day on it, and that would be all it would be speculations. So the last thing that I kind of went over throughout the week was this Reddit post I actually found this morning, and the only reason I want to bring it up is because it was actually a very interesting Reddit post, which things I kind of look for uh, as there was a guy who went in. His name is Red Panda Says, at least on Reddit, that's what it is. And basically, he was data mining uh, 1.0 and all the unused skills that were in 1.0. Uh, and kind of just relating to how those are actually going to play out for Machinists, Astrologian, Dark Knight. Um, and I thought it was kind of interesting because he was comparing a couple of things like Gladiator's Stroke of Time, kind of transferred into Tempered Will. Marauders Entrenched transferred into Home Gang, and these were just kind of, I'm assuming, unused skills in 1.0 that became into full fruition in 2.0. So, what do you think about all that, Jack?
Well, I never played 1.0, so I mean, my ideas of the skills there are very limited. But
Yeah.
I do know for a fact that there were skills that were in 1.0 that are currently not in game. I think one
Yeah.
of the bigger things, and since I actually like Monk, is the fact I think it was like a skill for like 100 fists or something like that.
Mhm.
It was in 1.0, but it's currently missing in game for 2.0.
Hmm.
So what I'm thinking is like whatever they had in 1.0, they may have some kind of transition into 3.0. Maybe this is just pure speculation. They may just throw a curveball at us and just give us something new.
Right.
I know, like with warriors, I don't know what entrenched was, but I believe there's like either a trait or ability that if you stood still yourself, your abilities either generated more enmity or gave you like this giant AOE for whatever skills you were using.
Right. Well, I think those are actually abilities that were data mined from the game that weren't in 1.0. They were just unused skills that they dug up when they were
Ah,
data
okay. So
mining.
these were completely unused skills altogether.
Yeah. Um.
In that case, then God knows what they're gonna do with it.
Yeah.
I mean, they could do whatever they want with it. I mean, they could either give it back to the main classes themselves, or somehow work in with the new classes, as he said,
Mhm.
astrologian, machinist, or dark knight.
Well, I'm actually going to go over a few of them, and kind of some of the explanations he gave. And this isn't all of the information that he put out there, but it's a good chunk of it. In regards to machinist, he was relating a lot of things from arcanist and machinist. Originally, give me 1 second. Okay, sorry.
Doggy.
Doggies, yeah, they're in the background and they love barking at anything that sounds like a knock. Um, but in 1.0, Arcanist had kind of was similar to Machinist. They did a lot of things that were trapper things, or they were field AOE's that they would place on the ground, and they would make things. I don't know, if you stood in them, you would get a bonus, or if you had a creature stand in them, they would be debuffed. And that's something to actually that sounds great to me. Uh, and another thing that Machinist did is that their weapon was it was a mechanical staff. And so machinists, they have turrets and guns, which are also mechanical. And so machinists will at least have, two turrets in the expansion. Um, and one's going to be spherical, one's going to be kind of like a cylinder. And those could probably have those different effects, like offensive are just group buffs that you can do for your party. Another thing about it is that the moves could be placing fields down. Again, yeah, you could place them down. You could create the quote unquote traps for the negative debuffs on the enemy, or how Sucker kind of looks, but it would be a party buff instead of uh, just reduced damage. Kind of like apparently Eleven's Geomancer. And I didn't get to
With
play Eleven's
like the
Geomancer,
terrain
but
debuffs or whatever like that, right?
yeah, terrain debuffs. Uh, which kind of sound I wasn't actually expecting that with Machinist, but that sounds actually kind of interesting.
I mean, it could work. I mean, they could like like Molotovs, and then you have like another flaming arrow, but instead of
Hmm.
like of just to do like slow or burn or something altogether. And then
Yeah.
like they have like their turrets, or it could like either be an actual offensive turret or be
Hmm.
something like looks like not a grenade, but it's like it places like a shield, so you have like a weaker version of that sacred soil,
Yeah.
something like that.
I would be excited to kind of play that too. And I mean, it could kind of work, how you have Celine and Eos. Instead, you have a turret that could buff the party, or the other one's healing, but maybe it's actually a damaging one, and that it could, place whatever it needs on the ground. And you kind of have to manage it. And he was also saying that there was an ability that was kind of like a complete ability, and so what that would do is maybe explode your robot or whatever and do damage. That he was reading
Okay, so
from some of
okay,
the data
like
mine stuff.
like an actual detonation skill, like
Hmm.
your robot will do kamikaze towards the mob or something.
I'm guessing that's what he was leading towards, and I'll post this on the YouTube channel so everyone can go to see his Reddit post. He did a lot of hard work to kind of find that stuff out. Um, but that kind of changes my view a little bit on Machinist, but I still am I'm gonna dive into it as soon as the expansion hits. That's the first thing I'm gonna do.
Yeah, so we can expect to lose a tank.
Yep,
during Come
losing a tank.
3.0.
Hopefully Serdan
All
can
right.
switch over to Dark Knight and it'll bounce out.
Me and Sir Dan are gonna fight over that position. Just letting you know.
Okay, that's fine. You guys can fight. I don't mind.
It's
In the
like so
worst
long as we
case,
have a tank.
yeah, and if it all works out, it doesn't work out, then I'll go back to warrior.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, you should probably switch it up, do something different. I mean, I've tanked before. I can do it before. If Sir Dan wants to tank too, all
Hmm.
for it. If anything, we'll just do like we're doing now. Like,
Yeah,
he'll have his dragoon as his alt and tank.
we'll make it work one way or another. But I'm excited either way. And a quick question from the chat was uh, some rumors on new summoner pets. Did you hear anything on rumors for new summoner pets?
Well, I mean, for what I do know is like Leviathan was like I believe it was confirmed pet that was supposed to be
Hmm.
coming. However, it was not going to be coming at all during 2.0 or any of its iteration.
Hmm.
So come 3.0, we may be seeing them. So we may be seeing something like Leviathan, Ramah, hell, even
Oh,
Ramah's
that would
Edgy
be
currently in
amazing.
game. I
Yeah.
mean, Ramah's Edgy is already in game. It's the
Yeah.
ads that we have to kill. So I mean, it's already
Oh yeah.
there.
That's
So I
true.
mean, yeah. So I mean, we could see them in 3.0. So summoner pets are going to be a thing. But one of the bigger problems right now with summoner is they need to be reworked. I mean, they have
Yeah.
lots of issues in Final Coil. I mean, they were like the go-to DPS class for casters in
Hmm.
second coil. But in Final Coil, you do not want to bring them in. They have MP issues. They just have like very bad issues. Their DPS isn't too great
Hmm.
compared to like a black mage.
Well,
I mean,
I've
I
heard a
mean,
couple of different things. Like a lot of people are actually bringing in summoners because they can do a lot of DPS, but it's really hard to get a good summoner versus a good black mage, I would think.
Well, I
Um,
mean, I only say that mainly because of the fact what everyone says. I mean, I have not, I have not run with them, so I'm just
hmm.
regurgitating what I've read and what everyone states.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Summoner's DPS is really good. I mean, it
Hmm.
could be. It's not good. I mean, it's not going to show on parsers. It's going to show lower than everyone else.
Hmm.
But I mean, the bigger problem is because it comes from dots, so it's not going to
Yeah.
calculate too well.
And the way
But
the
yeah,
game
it
does
is hard to find a
dots,
good summoner.
yeah, the way the game does dots is kind of a little bit weird too. Is it goes by in-game clock instead of actual from when you cast it.
Like when you apply it.
Yeah. But I mean, if it works, then I guess it works in the system. I hope they do a little bit of reworking for it. Because I think I'm a good summoner, but if I get next to another summoner who knows what they're doing, I look pretty stupid. Um, so
I think that's how we all feel. Like the extent, it's just like I was
yeah,
like, oh yeah, another ninja. I was like, probably do as
yeah.
good or better, and then this person just blows you away. It's just like,
Hmm.
well, looks like I have a long way to go.
Yeah. Oh, and Quick brings up a good point. Phoenix Iggy's in the game too, so there's lots of different possibilities out there for new summoner pets. And
That is true. I totally forgot about Phoenix, but I mean, Phoenix on the other hand is tied to I mean spoilers, Final
mhm,
Coil, due
yeah.
to a specific character, a very important character in the game.
Hmm.
And I mean, if you're like me or people who actually watched the end cutscene way before they actually did Coil, you know that it's gonna be impossible. Well, not impossible, but you're not gonna be able to use that EG under normal circumstances.
Yeah. We'll see. I wonder how it'll all kind of work out. I don't know how much rework they're going to do on the classes. They might just kind of extend them a little bit. But again, since they don't have PvP, uh, they can just focus on the PvE balance of it, and that makes the game, the PvE side of it, wonderful. It just kind of sucks for the PvP not being as balanced as everyone
Yeah,
wants it
I
to
mean
be.
that's kind of the thing with like most MMOs. It's either your PvE focus or PvP focus.
Hmm.
I mean, if you're like PvE focus and then try to dip into PvP, it's gonna be hard because you're gonna have all these skills that are like really unbalanced and unfair.
Hmm.
I mean, I guess the perfect way to say is just like look at ninjas. I mean, they're not unfair by any means, but I mean, they do have a lot of advantages versus other classes.
Right.
Because I
Um.
mean, they can rip any casters apart, especially the healers. So, but I mean, that's what they are. They're ninjas. They're assassins. They can pick out someone, rip them apart, and then disappear before anyone notices. But of course, the only other way to counter them is by using another ninja and using the
Right.
PvP skills themselves. I mean,
Yeah.
they're trying to balance it. I mean, I see it, but I mean, you still have all these, PvE skills that are clearly not meant for, PvP.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't want to go into a PvP match and you have your favorite class that you play all the time, and it's just completely worthless in PvP.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, kind of look like what they did to scholars and white mages. They removed cleric stance. That was like one of the things that's like, okay, do I need to heal or can I DPS? And they
right.
just said, fuck it, we're removing cleric stance. No one can use it. So now they're almost like kind of like repurposed to only heal. They
Hmm.
can DPS, but they're not going to get like the huge numbers that they did beforehand.
Honestly, I'm so removed from PvP, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, I've done PvP for a little bit. I had leveled I actually geared up my scholar just so I can heal in PvP because there is an extreme lack of healers, at least in the Maelstrom side.
hmm.
More of the time, I've always ended up with like everyone's DPS, so we're just like,
Hmm.
we're not gonna last long. We're gonna get decimated. So I geared up my scholar just so I can heal, and then I realized I can't go into cleric stance.
Yeah. Well, let's get off that tangent a little bit and go back to this post real quick. That was a good question. There's a lot actually to talk about on it. But the next class that he was talking about was Astrologian. And one of the unreleased classes in apparently 1.0 was Mystic. And it used kind of fire, wind, lightning, and it was astral aligned, which was light and is meant for healing, which is kind of the opposite from White Mage, who's like earth, wind, and water. So that would kind of make sense that they would have a balance there. And Astrologian, he made a good point, was is kind of like about predicting things. And some spells that he kind of dug up from 1.0 was So Ward and Re-Roof Raise, and both of those were just heals, or not heals, I'm sorry, just resurrection moves. But it's possible that apparently from what he dug up, that it's going to be more of an instant cast raise, or a quick, like a Suna speed raise. So then you would always want an astrologian in your group because of how quickly they can raise people if they die. Uh, but then again, you still have swift cast, so it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah, but I mean, like Swiftcast, I mean, it's like it's down. I mean, once you use
Yeah,
Swiftcast, it's gone. But
maybe
I mean,
swift
if an
cast won't be.
astrology can like do it on the fly without the use of Swiftcast,
Uh huh.
then that's something that's going to be invaluable when I guess, when you're learning a new content.
Yeah.
But I mean, outside of that, how is that going to work versus taking a scholar or
Mhm.
a white mage? Because I mean, right now as it is, you may want to have at least always a scholar due to the fact they can heal really well. They can also DPS very well as well, help push out the DPS. So I mean, the scholar is going to be a thing.
Mhm.
And then with white mages, the stow skin that they provide is invaluable along with the protect that they provide.
Yeah. And so I
So I mean,
they're really good at about saying if you have different healers, it'll be great. Like if you have two white mages, it's not as efficient as a white mage and a scholar. So I can still see scholar and white mage working out, but you're still going to have an astrologian mainly because it's new. I can't. It's hard for me to believe that they're going to put out astrologian and everyone's going to say if you don't have an astrologian in your group, you're not a good static. But I
yeah,
guess
that's
we'll
that's the
see.
thing, because they want to make it interchangeable. So it's just
Yeah.
like it doesn't matter if you don't it shouldn't matter if you don't take either the scholar or the white mage. Like you can still stick with the white mage and scholar, but if you put an astrologian in, it's just as good. You know, it's not
Yeah.
gonna be as better, but you're gonna be able to do different things that you couldn't do with the original combo that you had there.
Mhm. Well, and another thing that he was kind of thinking, and uh, after digging up a little bit more information, is astrology is going to be more of a water-based healing class, and in relation to Final Fantasy and kind of how their mechanics work, that could go to saying their core heal will be kind of lower, but it will apply a hot or healing over time after you heal. So instead
All
of
right,
having
so
a
it'll be like
healer
more of like a, a dot regen or something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that, like
exactly.
regen.
So instead of, Scholar can heal and put a shield on, instead you'll heal and then heal a little bit more after. So it'll kind of balance things out.
Yeah, so I guess this will work for like AOE situations.
Hmm.
Uh, I mean, if you need to do like an instant heal for like whoever's main tank and they took a big hit, I mean, obviously that's not gonna work. So
Right.
there's gonna be that quirk, like kind of like with the scholars where they have lustrate or they have their physics. So I mean they're gonna have like that one that actually heals, and then everything else is just like the quirks of the class.
Yeah. And then another thing that he brought up was that sacrifice is an unused skill in the 1.0. Um, or maybe it was a used skill. I don't know if I read that right, but basically it would use both HP and MP to heal someone for a really good amount, then heal them over time. And it was called sacrifice, and so that kind of makes sense that it would take a little bit from your health. Uh, what do you think about that kind of style of healing?
Like a sacrifice healer. Now that sounds pretty cool. I mean, like you use your own HP to heal someone else. I
Hmm.
mean, this will put yourself at risk, but I mean, it's like a risk reward kind of system.
Yeah.
I have not seen that per se, so I can't comment too much about that style of healing.
Hmm.
But I mean, when I think of sacrifice, I think it's like, okay, this could work well with the Dark Knight. It's
Yeah. And
like they could be they could be like an MP intensive kind of tank as well. Like
yeah.
they could actually sacrifice their HP to restore their MP pool or something. So I can see them reworking that in some way.
Yeah, and I'm sure it would be kind of neat to see that apply to Dark Knight too, and then you kind of have Warrior from the beginning of 2.0 again. We'll see how that works out.
Oh
Um,
man, Warrior 2.0. Oh man, those
yeah.
were the days.
But again, all this is of course speculation and just stuff that he dug up and making theories about it. But it was definitely interesting to read about. And then when he got into Dark Knight, he was kind of talking about how Marauder had a skill called Rampage in 1.0. And what that would do is kind of increase your damage every hit until you missed. And once you missed, that buff would go away. And that would kind of make sense because Dark Knight is kind of known for being a risky class. You know, you make these decisions that could possibly work out really well for you, but end poorly if you don't manage it right. Um, and when going into damage, uh, when I think Dark Knight and damage, I'm thinking at least warrior tier damage. Paladins can't they can do good damage, but they can't usually match up to what a warrior could do. But
Oh, let me stop you right there. I mean, a
okay,
paladin can out DPS a warrior, but that's only and only if they're off tanking. Because
yeah,
if a warrior main tanking, they will out DPS a paladin in with the shield oath.
okay. So off
I mean,
tank,
if they're off tank, I mean, if a warrior main tanking and a paladin off tanking, you'll get more DPS that way versus a paladin main tanking and a warrior uh, off tanking.
yeah. So I mean, when you're comparing an off tank warrior and off tank paladin, you know, who brings home in the end?
Paladins.
You think paladin does more damage than warrior off tank?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they attack faster with their auto attacks because I mean, a good portion of your DPS does come from your auto attacks, so
It's
that's not
true.
something that should be overlooked. So along with that, I mean, when you go into Sword Oath, I mean, that increases it even further, and the sword already has a fast auto attack.
I would probably completely disagree with you, but I don't have enough evidence to refute it.
I mean, you could probably look it up. I mean, there's been a number of of tests run on this. I mean, it has been confirmed that a paladin off tanking does more DPS versus a warrior, but
Hmm.
a warrior does more DPS in tanking stance than a paladin does.
Right. Well, I mean, if that was the case, then every single group would want to be warrior main tank and paladin off tank, right?
I mean, that would be the optimal thing if you wanted to put out the most DPS.
Hmm.
But of course, people are like, I mean, it's like a warrior's really good at that snap aggro. They can, they can pick up enemies as soon as they pop up. I mean, I've
Well,
done it
warriors
before.
or
You've done it.
paladins actually can do that really well now with the circle of scorn
Yeah, I
buff they
mean, oh
did.
yeah, with the changes they've done now, that's no longer a thing. They both can equally do it. But beforehand, warriors were the go-to choice for who you wanted as off tank to pick up the ads.
Hmm.
But I mean, now that's no longer an issue. So like the most optimal thing you could do is have the warrior main tank with the paladin off tanking it. That would be the most DPS wise. And if
Yeah.
the warrior can maintain the storm's eye or have
Hmm.
the ninja in your party do it, that's even more DPS for both of them.
Yeah. Well, it's something that we should probably try in our static just to see how that works out. I would love the DPS and have Carrick main tank, and just see how that
Yeah,
works
we could
out.
try that. We could try that with T13, but I don't think he has enough cooldowns to blow to survive.
Oh my gosh, cooldowns for warriors. I'll get off into another tangent if I talk about that. I'm
He only has
heavily opinionated.
2.
No, well, it's like you just have to. I won't get into it. I love it. Um, so, anyways, going on that. Um, so when we're talking about warriors, uh, and not warriors, Dark Knights in 11, one thing they could do is convert damage taken from auto attacks into HP. If the auto attack killed them, they'd still die, but after that was hit, it would come back and heal them. So you basically negate the auto attack. And this skill apparently already existed for Lancers in 1.21. So it's something that they possibly could move on the Dark Knights just to give them another neat atmosphere mechanic for tanking.
Could be.
I would be excited to see something like that. I would love to see the craziness of what 2.0 original Warrior was transferred over to
Oh, that's
Dark
right.
Knight.
You never played a 2.0
I didn't
Warrior.
play at the very beginning of 2.0, no, so I
Oh
missed
man,
a
you
lot of
you
that.
had. I'll put it this way: if you think working as a warrior now is challenging, 2.0 was even worse.
Yeah.
You had to. You actually the healing bonus that you get worked on your wrath stacks, and it increased every wrath stack. So if you wanted that cure bonus or that healing bonus, you had to hold on to all your stacks.
Mhm.
So if you use your stacks, you lose the healing bonus. So
Right.
yeah. So like if you took a big hit, you want to wait on using Inner Beast, and Inner Beast healed you for 300% of the damage that you inflicted. So if that thing crits, you're getting a good chunk of your health back. Using Infuriate was a skill necessary that if you use your red stacks to begin with, you pop Infuriate and hold it that way.
Yeah.
Foresight itself was not really a decent cooldown at the time. It didn't increase by a percentage. It increased by like 2,000 or I think like 2,000 defense or
Huh.
something like that.
Yeah, it's
It,
not
like
good
it,
to do set amounts for a cooldown because that it gets outdated.
yeah, it did a set amount versus the percentage that it is now. So
Mhm.
we had
Yeah.
no real cooldowns. Vengeance was not even a cooldown. It was just basically another dot that you could put yourself on,
Oh, that's
and
so
it worked
sad.
as a and it also worked as maintaining your wrath stacks as well, since it still had that mechanic built into it.
I wish I could just go to that version and
Home
just
gang
play it.
did not have the change that it has. Did not have the change what it had now. It did not work as we did not have the equivalent of what's that skill, Hollowed Ground. We did not have that in 2.0.
Oh, it didn't let you. It's still crap. I mean, home gang still
No,
needs
I
to be
mean home game is
reworked.
so crap. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I
Yeah.
mean at least you have an oh shit button, or at least a button that looks like an oh shit button.
Well, I mean, think about it this way. You're a paladin, you have tempered will, and you have hallowed ground. Hallowed ground, you take no damage at all. It does have a long cooldown. It's 7 minutes, but it's an awesome oh shit button. It works wonderfully, and you can use it
Yeah, I mean, but
twice
look at
every fight.
Warriors. What do we get?
Yeah, and so okay, and then you have Iron Tempest, which does kind of what Home Gang does, where you can't get knocked back, but it's a completely separate cooldown, completely separate move that you can use entirely different. Uh, but Home Gang, you blow both of those at once. So you blow your oh shit button that barely works as an oh shit button, and then you blow your the one that you would use for Iron Tempest. Although that's not a big deal, but I don't like it.
Yeah, like how my other warrior friend likes to put it. He calls it the double oh shit button.
Right?
It's like oh shit, I'm gonna die. Then oh shit, I can't move.
Yeah. And yeah, keeping you frozen in place is kind of ridiculous too.
Yeah,
But
I mean when it works, it's amazing. Like I was like, oh man, it's like in Titan EX when that was the thing, just popping whole gang at the right time.
hmm
Just like not only did you not just fly off, you took that landslide to the face, still alive, received the lustrate, and you're still going.
yeah. Well, that was pretty much all the information, or that was the gist of what he was posting. Again, that was Red Panda Says from Reddit. And I just wanted to share that with everyone because I thought it would be kind of cool to discuss. Um, and do you think that was kind of cool, Jack?
I think so.
Yeah, it's just neat information to see people who are actually putting in the work to gather that stuff. And uh,
But again, it still just falls into the idea of theory crafting, so none of it
yeah,
may be true, and they may just be doing it just like, Well, it's there, but we're never gonna use it ever again.
Yeah, it's fun for discussion. Um, but that kind of that wraps up all the news and information that I found over the last week. Do you have anything that you wanted to share, Jack?
Not really.
Really? Yeah. How's your internet doing?
It's doing wonderful. I am coming in and out, but it's not that bad.
Okay, good.
I
We can
do want to
actually,
say, if Square Enix, if you're watching, please bring Dissidia over and make sure it has online. That's all I ask. Please, thank
yeah.
you.
If you could just do that for us, that one little thing, Square Enix, that would be wonderful. Um, all right. Well then, again, joining me was Jack Green here, one of our ninjas for our static that we play with. Awesome
What's
guy. I
up?
appreciate you coming by, Jack.
No problem. Happy to be here, Brick.
Yeah, and I appreciate everybody watching tonight. This is again the first time that we actually did this kind of show. It's again I just called it MogTalk. It's kind of our pilot episode for our little news talk show that I wanted to throw together. And it doesn't look the best, but I actually really enjoyed this. I was really happy to sit here and have this conversation. It's past it's been over an hour and a half, Jack.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I thought we'd be here for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. So that's good discussion. Very good discussion. So if you guys have any suggestions or any comments or anything, send it to my Twitch, Frosty_TV, and then when I post this on Reddit, you guys will obviously see uh, the Reddit name that I'm using, and then I'll post it on YouTube as well. And just contact me any of those ways and tell me if you have any suggestions or anything. If anyone has any interest of reaching out and working with me on graphic art or anything like that, feel free. I am probably one of the worst people with graphic art. I can do MS Paint,
Draw
and
that
that's
stick
about it.
figure. You know you want to.
Yeah. To stick figures. I'll put those all over the screen. Um, and I think that's all I got for tonight. Well, I do also want to let you guys know I do stream every night. Almost every night. Thursdays, sometimes not. And if something comes up, I might not be able to stream one night. But I try to keep a solid stream of 9:30 Eastern to 12:30 a.m. Eastern every single night. And usually it's all Final Fantasy stuff. Every other night I'll do just a random other game. But this, I'm hoping, is going to be a Monday tradition, which I think is a really good time to discuss it because it's usually before patches and maintenance, and people are kind of done with all their
And
rating.
before Better Call Saul.
Yeah, and it's right before Better Call Saul. I don't know if maybe this is during Better Call Saul for people on the East Coast,
It's
but
okay. I have it. I have it on my phone, so I'm
yeah.
good.
So, but yeah, feel free to follow or let me know if you guys have any suggestions, and I'll be back tomorrow night probably, and if this works out and you guys like it and there's enough interest for it, I'll be back here doing the same thing Monday. Hopefully Jack can be here with me Monday again. We'll see.
Would love to. We'll get to you on that on Friday.
Sounds good. But otherwise, you guys have a wonderful night, and you too, Jack.
All right, take it easy, boss. I mean,
Good night.
Hefe.
Hefe, whatever. Good night, guys.